Okay, this is going to be a video showing you how to get all of the version exclusive Pokemon in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond version. So, a few things to note. First off, most of these Pokemon are going to be able to be obtained in the Grand Underground. Some of the Pokemon that are found in the Grand Underground can be found on like normal routes in other areas, but I would still recommend getting them in the Grand Underground because usually they're higher levels in the Grand Underground, so it's going to be easier for you to train them. Second is some of these Pokemon that can be found, or a fair amount of them, can be found in their evolved form in the Grand Underground as well. Like for example, Seel can be found in Diamond version in the Grand Underground. Can also be found as Dugong. Larvitar can be found as a Pupitar, but that's not always the case. So it's just kind of, you might see one of those guys, looking for their not evolved version. But yeah, another thing is, so I'm going to mention the for each Pokemon, I'm going to say what their Shining Pearl version counterpart is. Like for example, in Brilliant Diamond you can get Caterpie, in Shining Pearl you can get Weedle. Now a lot of these Pokemon can be found in the same area as their Brilliant Diamond counterpart. However, that's not always the case. Like Bagon is the Shining Pearl counterpart for Larvitar in Brilliant Diamond. However, he is found in completely different areas than Larvitar is. So I'll probably make a video in the future showing you where to get all the version exclusives in if you have Shining Pearl version. But just know that just because you can get, this game's version exclusive in this area doesn't mean you can get the other game's version exclusive in the same area. With all that out of the way, the first version exclusive Pokemon is Dialga, or Palkia if you're playing Shining Pearl. So he's just found at the top of Mount Coronet throughout the normal course of the game. I've gotten through all that. Now something to note is if you fail to catch Dialga, you can actually come back after you've beat the Elite Four, and he'll be back here at level 47 for you to rematch. So again, Dialga is only available in Brilliant Diamond version. If you're playing Shining Pearl, you will be able to get Palkia instead. So yeah. Okay, so Caterpie can be found in the Grand Underground after obtaining the National Dex, and can be found in the Spacious Cave, Grassland Cave, Swampy Cave, Riverbank Cave, Stillwater Cavern, Sunlit Cavern, and Bog Sunk Cavern areas. And I'm in the Spacious Cave area, which is the one that's kind of, I guess it's like tan over on the map. And I have found one, and basically what you want to do is just find one of these areas that he appears in, and then enter and leave the area, and kind of look around until you find the Caterpie. So he is a Brilliant Diamond exclusive, and if you're playing Shining Pearl, you'll be able to find Weedle instead of Caterpie. So yeah. Okay, Ekans can be found in the Grand Underground, in the Grassland Cave area, the Swampy Cave area, the Riverbank Cave area, Stillwater Cavern area, Sunlit Cavern area, and Bog Sunk Cavern area after obtaining the National Pokedex. So I am in the Sunlit Cavern, and there's an Ekans right here. Now, Ekans can only be found in Brilliant Diamond version. If you're playing Shining Pearl, you'll be able to find a Sandshrew instead of an Ekans. Okay, now Growlithe can be obtained in the Spacious Cave, the Volcanic Cave, the Sandseer Cave, and the Typhlo Cavern areas of the Grand Underground after obtaining the National Dex. And I am here in the Spacious Cave area, and I found a Growlithe. Now, Growlithe is only available in Brilliant Diamond. If you're playing Shining Pearl, you'll be able to find a Vulpix instead of a Growlithe. Alright, next up is Seel. Now Seel can be found in the Grand Underground, in the Fountain Spring Cave, Whiteout Cave, Icy Cave, and Glacial Cavern areas after obtaining the National Dex. It can also be found on routes 226 and 230. So I found a Seel down here. I believe I'm in the Whiteout Cave at the moment. So Seel is only available in Brilliant Diamond. So in Shining Pearl, you'll be able to get a Slowpoke instead of a Seel. Okay, so Scyther can be found in the Grand Underground, in the Grassland Cave is a rare spawn, the Riverbank Cave is a rare spawn, Stillwater Cavern is a rare spawn, and also in the Sunlit Cavern and Big Bluff Cavern after you have obtained the National Dex. Can also be found on Route 229, just as a normal spawn. So I am in the Grassland Cave area, and there's a Scyther right there. So Scyther can only be found in Brilliant Diamond. In Shining Pearl, you'll be able to find a Pinsir instead. Okay, now Murkrow can be obtained in the Grand Underground, in the Spacious Cave, the Grassland Cave, the Riverbank Cave, Stillwater Cavern, and Sunlit Cavern. Can also be obtained in Eterna Forest at night and in the Lost Tower at night. So I am in the Sunlit Cavern area of the Grand Underground, and there's a Murkrow. Now Murkrow is of course exclusive to Brilliant Diamond. If you're playing Shining Pearl, you'll be able to get a Misdreavus instead of a Murkrow. Alright, next is Gligar, and Gligar can be found in the Rocky Cave, Bog Sunk Cavern, Swampy Cave, and Sunlit Cavern areas as a rare spawn, and in the Big Bluff Cavern as a normal spawn after you complete the after you get the National Pokedex. So I am in the Sunlit Cavern right now, which is the big green area on the map, and I've found a Gligar. And yeah, so Gligar is exclusive to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond version. In Pokemon Shining Pearl version, I believe the Pokemon you'll be able to capture instead of Gligar is a Teddiursa, which evolves into Ursaring. Okay, now, Elekid can be found in the Grand Underground in the Dazzling Cave area, the Whiteout Cave area, Stargleam Cavern area, and the Glacial Cavern area, and it appears as rare spawns in all of those areas. So here's an Elekid that I found right here. Elekid is exclusive to Brilliant Diamond. If you are playing Shining Pearl, you will only be able to find a Magby, or you'll be able to find a Magby instead of an Elekid. Okay, now Larvitar. Larvitar can be obtained in the Grand Underground in the Rocky Cave and Big Bluff Cavern areas after obtaining the National Pokedex. Can also be obtained on Route 207 using the Poke Radar, again, only after obtaining the National Pokedex. So I'm here in the Big Bluff Cavern, and I have found a Larvitar right here. Now Larvitar is exclusive to Brilliant Diamond. If you are playing Shining Pearl, you will be able to find a Bagon instead of a Larvitar. Okay, so now we have Seedot. So Seedot can be found in the Grand Underground and the Grassland Cave, the Riverbank Cave, the Stillwater Cavern, and the Sunlit Cavern after obtaining the National Pokedex. So I found one right here. Now, Seedot can only be found in Brilliant Diamond version. If you're playing Pokemon Shining Pearl version, you'll be able to find a Lotad instead of a Seedot. Okay, so now we have Mawile. Now Mawile can be found in the Grand Underground after obtaining the National Pokedex, in the Dazzling Cave area and the Stargleam Cavern area. And I'm in the Dazzling Cave right now, and there's a Mawile right over there. Now, Mawile is only available in Brilliant Diamond. If you're playing Shiny Pearl, you'll be able to get a Sableye instead of a Mawile. Okay, so Zangoose can be found in the Grand Underground after obtaining the National Pokedex in the Grassland Cave, Swampy Cave, Dazzling Cave, Sunlit Cavern, Starry Gleam Cavern, and Bog Sunk Cavern areas. I'm in the Swampy Cavern area, yeah, found one. If you are playing Brilliant Diamond, you'll be able to find Zangoose. If you're playing Shining Pearl, you will be able to find a Seviper instead. So yeah, that's Zangoose. Okay, so now we have Solrock. Solrock can be found in the Grand Underground after obtaining the National Pokedex in the Dazzling Cave, Riverbank Cave, Stillwater Cavern, and Stargleam Cavern areas. I am in the Dazzling Cave area, and there is a Solrock right here. And if you're playing Brilliant Diamond, you'll be able to find Solrock. Although if you're playing Shining Pearl, you will only be able to find Lunatone. So yeah, that is Solrock. Okay, so now we have Kecleon. Kecleon can be found in the Grand Underground, in the Grassland Cave, the Riverbank Cave, Stillwater Cavern, Sunlit Cavern, after obtaining the National Pokedex. It can also be found on Route 210, in the north version of Route 210, using the Poke Radar. So I have found a Kecleon right here. So Kecleon can only be found in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond version. In Shining Pearl version, there is no real equivalent to Kecleon, because basically in Shining Pearl version, instead of getting a Seel, you can get a Slowpoke. Slowpoke evolves into Slowbro or Slowking. Seel can only evolve into Dugong. So they had to add an extra Pokemon to make up for, that, the extra evolution that Shining Pearl's version exclusive got, so they added Kecleon. Okay, so Stunky can be found in the Grand Underground, can be found in the Spacious Cave, Grassland Cave, Riverbank Cave, Stillwater Cave, and Sunlit Cave areas, but can only be found in those areas after you have access to the move Strength. Can also be found on Route 206, Route 214, and Route 221 throughout Sinnoh. So I am in the Riverbank Cave, and I have actually found a Stunky. So if you were playing Shining Pearl, you'd be able to find a Glameow instead of Stunky. Stunky is only available in Brilliant Diamond. Glameow is the counterpart in Shining Pearl. Okay, next up we have Cranidos. Now, Cranidos is a fossil Pokemon and can be obtained using the Skull Fossil, which you can find by digging in the Grand Underground. Now, once you get the Skull Fossil, you head to Oreburgh City, and you can go into this building up here over the Pokemon Center, and you can talk to this guy and give him the Skull Fossil. And then all you have to do is just leave and immediately re-enter, and your Pokemon will be ready. Now, Cranidos is only available in Brilliant Diamond version. In Shining Pearl, you'll be able to get the Armor Fossil instead of the Skull Fossil, which will let you get Shieldon instead of Cranidos. So yeah. Okay, next up is Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Now these Pokemon can be found in Ramnus Park, which is off of 221, and can be accessed after obtaining the National Pokedex. So go in here and talk to this lady, and you can buy Johto Slates. And you're going to need to buy 3 Johto Slates in order to get all of these guys. 1 Johto Slate will allow you to get, just 1. So you can buy them with Mysterious Shards, which can be found in the Grand Underground. Now, you got to be patient when trying to get these because they are pretty rare, so they'll take a while to dig up. But it should maybe take you around an hour, maybe 2, in order to get enough to purchase 3 of the Johto Slates. So once you've done that, I'm not going to buy them because I already got the guys. Go into the park area, and you go into this room, which is the Johto room. And you can place the slates in this little altar thing, and yeah, you'll be able to battle one of the 3 Pokemon. I think it just chooses at random who you're gonna fight. So if you want to catch a specific one, you could save right before you put the slate in, and then see who pops up, and then if it's the wrong one, you can just reset. But Raikou, Entei, and Suicune are only obtainable in Brilliant Diamond. If you're playing Shining Pearl version, you'll be able to get Moltres, or Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno by using the Kanto Slates and coming to the same room, which in that game will be the Kanto room. And you can get those guys basically the same way. So yeah. Okay, so next up is Ho-Oh. Now Ho-Oh can also be found in Ramnus Park after obtaining the National Pokedex. So go into here, talk to this lady, and you want to buy a Rainbow Slate, which I will actually do that this time because I have not obtained Ho-Oh. So buy the Rainbow Slate. If you are playing Shining Pearl, you'll be able to get the Squall Slate, which allows you to get Lugia instead of Ho-Oh. So once you do that, go up here into this room, which is the Rainbow Room. Or if you're playing Shining Pearl, it'll be the Squall Room. So you can put your slate in here. And then you will be taken to an area where you can find Ho-Oh. So yeah, again, Ho-Oh is only exclusive. Ho-Oh is exclusive to Brilliant Diamond. If you're playing Shining Pearl version, you'll be able to get Lugia, basically just the exact same way. So yeah, that is Ho-Oh.